Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar about earning an MS or an MBA degree in business analytics. We are representatives from Syracuse University. That's our lovely campus that you see on screen. My name is Shri Ramakrishnan. I am the Assistant Director for Graduate Recruitment at the Whitman School of Management, which is the business school at Syracuse University. Today with me, I also have Professor John Harder, who is Associate Professor of MIS and also the Director of the MS in Business Analytics program. We will be talking to you a little bit about our degree offerings at the Whitman School, but focusing more specifically on the specialization of business analytics. So here's a little brief agenda that helps you follow along as to what we want to share with respect to our content today. Just give you a brief introduction to the school, talk about the degrees that we offer, give you a little overview about business analytics, job opportunities in the field, and specifically the courses and the tools that will be taught in the programs. And then we want to open it up for Q&A. Because this webinar is only for 45 minutes, we would like to maximize answering as many questions as possible. So keep your questions ready and post them in the questions tab on your screen. So this is a view from the inside of the Whitman School of Management. The signs that you see hanging from there represent our values at the Whitman School. We are the business school, as I mentioned, at Syracuse University, established in 1919. We started offering our first MBA program from 1948. We had started with the specialization in supply chain management, but now, of course, we have a range of other offerings at the business school. Today, specifically, I wanted to focus on the MS degree that we offer in business analytics and also the MBA program with a specialization in business analytics. So as you see on the screen, I've given you a few differences about the program, but I will be providing my contact information on the PowerPoint as well as later in the chat box, and we can go over specific details that you might have about each program and the application requirements for each of these degrees. So the MS in Business Analytics is offered both full-time and online. Specifically today, we want to be talking about our full-time program offerings. The full-time program is STEM designated and has flexible duration options. So you could complete the MS degree in 16 months with or without a summer internship, or you can extend it for 21 months without the internship. For the MBA in Business Analytics, again, it's offered full-time and online. It's a general management program, but allows you to specialize in business analytics or also take in a dual specialization if needed. The program duration is 2 years, and internships are strongly encouraged in the summer months. So with that brief overview, I want to now move to Professor Harder to talk to us about an overview of business analytics and also specifically why analytics at Whitman. Don?
Sure. So let me talk about some of the reasons why analytics is so popular right now and some of the content and techniques that you'll learn while you're in the business analytics program or the MBA program with a specialization in analytics. Next slide. And so the analytics field has grown tremendously over the last few years. Analytics has actually existed since the 1940s and 50s, but computer technology has improved so much just in the last 2 decades that it has become an extremely popular field in a variety of areas. To give you an idea, Accenture actually has about 20,000 employees working in this area. Procter & Gamble has quadrupled the size of its organization in analytics. Both McKinsey and Gartner Group have extraordinary estimates of the shortfall of talent in the United States. 140,000, 190,000 people with very deep analytic skills. That means usually a master's degree. About 4.4 million demand for analytic skills for people who are in management who need to understand analytics. So the demand for analytics is very, very substantial. Next slide. To give you an idea of the types of things you'll learn, and I'll differentiate between the MS in Business Analytics and the MBA. What you'll learn in the MS in Business Analytics degree is there are 2 core courses. There's a statistics course and an intro to business analytics course, in addition to your choice of 2 out of 4 applications courses: accounting analytics, if you're interested in accounting, marketing analytics, financial analytics, and a supply chain analytics course. Students who go into the MS in business analytics are required to take the 2 core courses and 2 of the applications courses. Students who do the MBA with an analytics concentration take the 2 core courses and at least 1 of the applications courses. Next slide. We also have depth classes that go more into the technology. MS in Business Analytics students are required to take 2 of these courses. MBA students will take 1 of these courses. Anything from database administration that teaches you things such as how to design a database, or structured query language, SQL, also pronounced SQL. Data science, which teaches you sophisticated tools in how to do analytics analysis. Data analytics and big data courses, which allow you to examine extremely large data sets. Information visualization allows you to display different graphic representations, so you can decide how to present things to your audience. And an expansion of our database course is data warehousing. And moving away from quantitative numbers, we also have a text mining course that allows you to analyze Twitter and social media and things like that. There are a number of electives available to you also. You can learn Python, natural language processing, and for the MS in Business Analytics degree, any graduate business course will also count as an elective for that degree. What we've tried to do with these different courses, the core courses, the applications area courses, the depth classes, and the electives, is give you both the breadth of coursework from technological courses at one end to pure applications courses at the other extreme, and everything in between, combinations of the applications and the technology. What we have found from industry is demanding not just technology and not just business, but a blending of those. These programs were developed based on interviews with executives back in 2013 and continued interviews with executives over the last 7 years to determine how the field is evolving. The selection of courses that you see is entirely based on what those executives said they needed if they were to hire a Syracuse student to perform analytics analysis in their organization. So this is not a case where we simply took existing courses and threw them together. We actually talked with executives for about 6 months to initially design the first set of courses, and then again over the last 7 years to update those courses. All this coursework is designed with the focus of getting students jobs. Next slide, please. So often in sessions like this, we get questions on what different tools will be taught. In talking to the executives, they wanted everyone to know advanced Excel skills, not simply how to put a formula into a spreadsheet or what a spreadsheet was, but to be able to extract data from multiple spreadsheets, databases, web pages, a variety of different data sources. Excel has features called Power Query and Power Pivot that allow you to go out to essentially any data source in the world and pull that data in and reorganize it, and then actually start to present it. In addition, we've taken it one step further in going into database technology. You'll learn relational database design, how to perform queries on that data, how to retrieve the data, how to actually design SQL or SQL queries to go against any database that exists out there. SQL or SQL is a structured query language that allows you to retrieve data from any database, from Access to Oracle to DB2, MySQL, and so forth. In the introductory course, you'll also learn Google Analytics and AdWords, how to analyze website data, and how to retrieve it, manipulate it, and draw insights from different campaigns, of advertising campaigns, to determine which advertising campaign is the most effective and which one is attracting the type of people that you're interested in as customers. R is probably one of the more important statistical languages you're going to learn. R is an open source language that's actually been around for a long time. It was invented originally in the 1970s. It was called S at the time. In the 1990s, it was recalled S+. And in the late 1990s, an open source version, which means a free version, was developed called R. The reason it's popular is as organizations such as Accenture and Procter & Gamble are expanding analytics, they could not afford these expensive statistical packages that cost up to $5,000 per person. R has now become the most popular statistical language and data mining language around the country. R is an open source free software package that allows you to do anything from regression analysis to nonlinear analysis, data mining, neural networks, and deep learning. And in the introductory course, you'll learn each of those things from statistical analysis all the way up through deep learning. In presentation of data, Tableau and Power BI are two of the more powerful tools today to actually present data to senior executives. Tableau and Power BI both allow you to build what are called dashboards. Dashboards, it can extract data from a variety of sources from around the world, integrate the data, perform analysis on the data, and then start to create anything from bar charts to line charts to presentations, and ultimately storyboards that allow you to show an entire story of what your data is telling you. Tableau and Power BI are probably in the US the two most powerful and popular dashboarding packages currently available. One particular package in the accounting area is called IDEA. IDEA is a data mining package that detects fraud in organizations. So if you've ever had a bank account or a credit card, or if you've ever applied for loans, banking industry and the financial industry use packages in order to detect fraud in their banking records, in their loan records. Accountants use it to detect fraud in accounts receivables, accounts payable, and expense reporting. This package is very, very effective at finding slight deviations from what should appear in data in a normal case to what might appear in a fraudulent financial case. It's a very effective package, and you'll learn how to actually detect fraud. Students who've actually gone through this program have been able to apply it to their jobs and have been able to detect fraud in their own organizations, where people had actually stolen up to $5 million through expense report fraud and so forth. So it's a very effective package for accounting and financial analysis. Excuse me. The latest addition to our curriculum about 2 years ago was Python. Python is now the most popular language in the US for any types of analytical computations. Python is popular because it's fairly easy to learn. It has an interface with R, Excel, and other packages, so you can actually use Python to call R to do deep learning, use Python to call Excel to extract data, call Access to extract data, and so forth. We have a course on campus that is entirely a Python course that helps you prepare for industry. We've just launched this semester another course in Python for business that actually reinforces some of those lessons. Each of these tools are sort of a sample of the types of things you'll learn before you finish the MS in Business Analytics degree program. And are the different things you could potentially learn when you're doing a concentration in the MBA program. Each of these tools were selected based on feedback from executives in industry. Executives from McKinsey, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Accenture, PricewaterhouseCoopers, KPMG, and so forth. These are the things executives said everyone in analytics should know how to use. Next slide. Go ahead, Sri. Your microphone's off, Sri. Microphone's still off. I can summarize, Sri. Okay. If you're interested in the MS and Business Analytics program, go to whitman.syr.edu/MSBA. If you're interested in the MBA program, go to whitman.syr.edu/MBA. Both programs have merit scholarships available for all admitted candidates. And so everyone who's admitted to the program is eligible for a scholarship. Okay, so thank you very much. I believe we are open for questions.
Okay. Sorry about that. Right, so if we do have questions, please post them in the chat box. Oh, we do have a lot of questions. Do we have any online one-on-one master dual program with any Turkish university? Not at the moment with the business school, but we do have a lot of Turkish students attending our university, and so that's something you might want to send us a message about inquiring after you look at our website in general at Syracuse University. Do we have any Turkish faculty members? Don, you might be able to answer that more. I do know we have Turkish faculty members, but.
Yes, we have at least one Turkish faculty member. He's in our supply chain department. His name's Burak Kazaz. And I'm trying to think of additional ones. I know we have at least one.
We've had people in the past, but then there's also, as faculty, just as you guys evolve in your careers, faculty also evolve in their careers and sometimes move to different universities. So we did have another professor back in 2014, Yildirim, and then he's now moved on to another university. But how many Turkish students do we have in total? So please remember that today's discussion is specific to the Whitman School of Management. So overall at Syracuse University, we have a lot of Turkish students coming in every year for our undergraduate programs as well as master's programs in various other departments and schools and colleges. Specifically at the Whitman School of Management, we have had students come into our MBA program and more recently joining our MS programs. So for the MBA program and the MS programs at the Whitman School, we are what are known as intimate-sized programs. So we don't take a lot of students into the program. So therefore, the expectation is that we are going to bring in highly competitive and qualified students. And so therefore the number per se might be limited, but we do have representation from your country pretty much every year. Do we have any representatives in Turkey? No, we don't. We are based out of Syracuse, which is in upstate New York or central New York. We are about 5 hours drive from New York City. and from other major cities in the US on the East Coast as well. How is the coronavirus pandemic situation at your campus? I will address this very briefly with respect to general information, and maybe Professor Hart can talk about specifically how he's teaching his classes remotely. So with respect to the response from Syracuse University senior management about handling the coronavirus, I would say that it is actually much better at Syracuse University compared to some of our other institutions in the upstate region or in the rest of the country. We do have less than 1% incidence at the university per se, but there is a very robust plan in place to undergo testing or conduct testing for students every 2 weeks, and for staff and faculty it's available as well. But with robust testing, there are opportunities for immediately catching any incidence of the virus on campus and therefore quarantining as necessary. And there are facilities that are available for that as well. So there's a lot of contact tracing that goes on if a positive case is identified. And students have been very cooperative in undergoing the tests as required, as and when necessary, both in the dormitories as well as in off-campus housing. With respect to the teaching scenario due to this pandemic, the university has actually been offering in-person classes with social distancing efforts and protocols in place, as well as remote teaching and making the content available with professors teaching simultaneously both in person as well as remotely or online. Don, you want to talk more about your classes and your experience?
Sure. So I have 2 classes. In the 2 classes, I teach in what's called hybrid mode. Students can come into class and sit in the class at socially distanced seats, which are 6 feet apart, about 2 meters apart, or they can take the class online. Everything is broadcast on Zoom and is also recorded. And students can go in either direction, is their choice. What I found is the majority of the students actually like not having to take a bus or walk to school, and so they get up in the morning and they take my class remotely. I would say about 30% want to come to class and 70% prefer to stay remote. But we have actually worked on the technology to ensure that everyone has the same experience. And so when I teach live in a classroom, it is broadcast via Zoom to all the other students sitting in their apartments or sitting in their homes, drinking their coffee and watching the class on their computer screen. Some of the professors have decided to go 100% remote. Those classes that are very large, we've moved those to remote. The classes tend to be a bit smaller. We give the students all the options. Most of your classes, you will have the option. Only a handful of classes are actually exclusively online.
Okay, so do we have ELT or linguistics PhD education? Again, let me just remind everybody, today's webinar is specific to the Whitman School of Management. So at the Whitman School, we are discussing specifically programs related only to business disciplines. So at Syracuse University's website, yes, we do have ELT and linguistics offered in the Department of Linguistics. So you might want to check the university website. Have any of you been to Turkey before? Of course, Turkey, Istanbul is one of my favorite places to visit. Since I am a graduate recruiter, my job is to travel to locations to attend in-person recruitment events. Pre-pandemic world, my plan was to actually finish the recruitment tour for fall 2020 in Istanbul. That was my last event, but unfortunately my travel plans were cut short in mid-February. What about you, Dan?
I've been to Istanbul once.
Yes, so beautiful city. Looking forward to heading back. In fact, I think that's one of my first locations that I will head back to the minute they open up the borders. Is it a plus for acceptance if we have work experience? So again, I'm going to address this briefly from the applications perspective, and maybe Don can talk more about how the work experience folks perform in the classroom and what is looked at by corporate recruiters. So work experience is usually recommended for the MBA program. It offers you certain advantages when you actually have some work experience, because not only does it help you identify what your strengths and shortcomings might be after having completed your undergraduate degree, gone into the workspace and recognized what might be an area of interest for you, what skill sets you have, which are actually a strength, but also what other skill sets you might want to acquire through an advanced degree program. Having said that, we don't necessarily require or recommend work experience for the MS program, but it is not going to factor in as a negative component if you do apply for either program with your work experience. It depends on how much work experience you are bringing into the program, whether it is the right degree option for you. So somebody coming in with high level of work experience and wanting to do a specialized master's degree, one question we might ask is, why are you not considering the MBA, or what is your ultimate career trajectory? So if you are coming into the program to learn specialization depth, then as long as you are able to explain what your trajectory might be, then that will help us understand how the degree is going to actually add value to your aspirations. From the classroom perspective,
so in my classes, I have students who have 0 experience up through 10 years of experience. It varies tremendously. And if you have more experience, you're going to have a better framework to work from and to learn from, but it's not required. Shri, there's a question you skipped over from Faiza. What are the application requirements for MBA and business?
Yeah, because there are 2 that are related. So what are the application requirements for the MBA, and are there any changes about start dates and application deadlines?
Okay.
So with respect to application requirements, one thing I'm going to say at the, once we receive all of your registration contact information, I'm going to send out a message to all of you to connect with me individually via email and or Zoom calls as needed, so we can schedule. But very quickly about the application requirements, we do require an actual online application that you will have to complete. So the links are available to you on the website, but I will also throw it into the chat box. But you want to consider taking a GMAT or a GRE exam. It's recommended for the MBA. We look at folks with respect to your work experience and your undergraduate degree completion and your GPA, but then also recommendation letters. So it's like a holistic review. But people with over 5+ years of work experience, we want to respect what you have done and also look at whether the GMAT is actually a necessary component for you at that stage, or whether it is something that can be used as a recommendation instead of a requirement. Folks with less than 5+ years of full-time work experience, we do encourage you to take the GMAT or the GRE exam, and we can talk more. Feel free to email me with respect to your specific question, and we can schedule a call. So here in the answers, I'm just throwing in a link to our page where you can go and check the application requirements. And then with respect to the application deadlines, the deadlines will always remain the same. They are starting, our first round application deadline is starting November 30th. The second round is January 15th. Third round is March 1st, and the last round is April 19th. Again, you can apply by any of those rounds. We will consider you for admission as well as for merit scholarships. There is no separate application to request a scholarship. All candidates who have submitted an application will be reviewed. Your applications will be reviewed for admission as well as for scholarship, and this applies to the MS in Business Analytics as well as to the MBA program. I'm just going to go over some more. F1 visa holders can only work on campus. Could you please inform us about work permit for international students for outside campus? Can they do internship or work while they are studying? Okay, so this is, first I want to start off by saying there is an International Student Center on campus at Syracuse University that works with all international students at the university, irrespective of your level of education, whether you're undergraduate or graduate students. So having said that, yes, you are correct. You will be applying to come to campus, typically on a student visa, which requires you to be working, if you choose to work, on campus for 20 hours per week. With respect to the internships, yes, our internships are considered what is called curricular practical training and are considered towards credit for the program. Therefore, you will work with the international student advisor to get your CPT paperwork done, which will then qualify and allow you to work at your chosen internship. Now, of course, there is also an academic advisor at the Whitman School of Management who will work with every student to help you build your program of study. So you have Professor Harder here, who is a director of the MS and Business Analytics program. So of course, he is also involved in understanding your program and plan of study for the MS. And then within the MBA, he will be responsible for agreeing or approving certain courses that you might be taking and or your internship towards whether it would count towards the program specialization. So with all these aspects in play, you will be able to work with also the Career Center advisor to identify your internship. So you have multiple folks who will assist you in identifying your internship, getting an internship, checking whether that will meet your experiential learning requirements for the program and count towards the program, as well as whether you need paperwork to be completed to participate in the internship.
Shri, if I could add a little more detail. Hesta, I think your question is about working on campus while you're a student. The visa requirements currently are your first 2 semesters. As Shri said, you're allowed to work a maximum of 20 hours per week, but it has to be on campus. After you've completed 2 semesters, you can do a summer internship, as Shri mentioned in CPT, curricular practical training. We've also had students in their second year work off campus. After you've completed 2 semesters, you are allowed to work off campus while you're studying. You're not allowed to do that until you've completed 2 complete semesters. So you're correct in your question. F1 visa holders can only work on campus up to 20 hours their first 2 semesters. You can start working off campus after you've completed 2 semesters of work. And we've had a number of students who have had internships in the fall or spring of their second year that are off campus, but they've already completed their 2 semesters.
Okay, so we've already addressed the scholarship opportunities. Yes, everybody is considered for scholarship. With respect to program fee for the MBA, again, Faiza, please visit the website because the details of the program fees and the structure are provided on the website, the link that I gave you earlier. Do international students have OPT? If yes, what is the duration? Okay. So this is something that you have to recognize as a difference between the 2 programs. So all students, all international students who graduate from a US university based on your level of education, so will have the opportunity to complete or apply for, not complete, we will be eligible to apply for a 12-month OPT. So for instance, if you are completing an undergraduate degree, you will have one opportunity to be eligible and apply for a 12-month OPT. After the bachelor's degree, if you move on to study an advanced degree after using your OPT, then for the master's degree, you will get an additional 12-month opportunity. With respect to the program specifically at the business school at Syracuse University, at the Whitman School, our MBA program only gives you the 12-month OPT opportunity that you can apply for. And once it has been approved, you can participate in your OPT. But for the MSBA program, it is a STEM designated program. So yes, you will be eligible to apply for the initial 12-month OPT. And then once you have secured that employment and it has been approved and you participate in it, before the completion of the 12-month OPT, you will be eligible to seek an additional 2-year extension because of the STEM designation. Now, keep in mind the details of all of this and the CPT, which I mentioned earlier for your internships. All of these, we have workshops conducted by the International Student Advisor on campus. And so you can attend those workshops and you will get very clear instructions on how to apply and what procedures to follow to make sure that you remain in status. So short answer, yes, it's at least 12 months, but for the MS in Business Analytics program, because it is STEM designated, you will be eligible to request the extension. And once it's approved, you can continue for the remaining 2 years. If we would prefer to take classes online, is it required to come to campus? Dan, you want to address a little bit about the online MSBA?
Well, there are two ways of doing something online. We have one program for MBA and Business Analytics that is completely online. It's taught in the evenings. You don't have to come to the US at all for that. If you want to enroll in the on-camp, and I'll forewarn you, the evening online program has no scholarships. If you want to enroll in the regular on-campus MBA or on-campus MS in Business Analytics, and come to the US and take it online, the current visa requirements are you have to take at least one course in what's called hybrid mode, which means you have to attend a couple classes. If you decide to stay in Turkey and do the campus program online, which does offer scholarships, we have this year a number of students in Pakistan and China and elsewhere who have stayed in their country. They're taking the program online. That program, the campus program, is being done online also. And so you are eligible for scholarships. You don't have to come to campus. But I want to be very clear, if you want to come into the United States, your first semester, you do have to have at least one hybrid class, which means it has the option of actually attending something. It has the option. So the regulations on this have changed several times in the last 6 months. This is the current interpretation of the regulations from the International Center. If you decide just to stay in your own country, there are actually no visa requirements and you can take the entire program online. Recognize the on-campus version offers scholarships, even if you take it online. The evening online program offers no scholarships. So be careful which one you apply for.
Okay, so I'm just typing out a response here to Mohammed's question about how can we get accepted and what are the program requirements and the information. So please, I've given you the link to our websites, and if you have specific profile related questions and need an evaluation of your particular candidacy and profile, I've also provided you my email address. Please contact me via email because it's not generic enough to be discussed in a forum like this. But in general, how can you get accepted? There are specific application requirements for both programs, whether it's MS in Business Analytics or MBA in Business Analytics. One thing that we did not touch upon in the presentation, and maybe Don, you could touch briefly upon this, is even though we don't necessarily have prerequisites for the MS in Business Analytics, there is usually the expectation that students who come into the program come with some quantitative background. So do you want to talk a little bit about the type of undergrad degrees or backgrounds that your students usually come from?
Sure. We'll accept students from any background as long as they know algebra. If you know algebra, you'll be fine. If you don't know algebra, all the courses are quantitative, and it's going to be too much of a challenge. So that's basically the only hurdle.
But usually also students with degrees in statistics, mathematics, engineering, physics, any of these courses are you typically the ones who seek, or any other computer languages, are ones who do inquire about the program. But then again, as Don said, we do take anybody into the program who does have a quant background or is able to demonstrate competency. And in that case, we look at your GMAT scores as well to address that. Mm-hmm. Can we do an internship while studying? Yes, you can. And this depends on the program that you apply for, whether it's an MS degree or an MBA degree. We do encourage summer internships.
But while studying, we've had both MBA students and MS business analytics students do internships while they're taking courses in the fall or spring of their second year. It has to be the second year, summer between the 2 years or second year.
Right. So career opportunities in the US for international students after graduation from the MBA. Okay. I will not give you any kind of numbers for the most recent year because we have just finished our data collection, I suppose, for the 3 month after graduation, for 3 months after graduation. So I don't have a number or percentage for that as yet. But so I'm going to keep it very anecdotal. And maybe Don, you could add any anecdotes that you have as well. But with respect to opportunities in the US, it is getting increasingly challenging. I will not deny that. But it's not to say that there is absolutely no option at all available to students. Companies are still hiring. They are still looking at quality and not necessarily based on citizenship. So they are willing to sponsor for the right reasons. So we have a career center where you will be working with an advisor specifically for MBA students or only working with MBA students. What we want to present, or what I would encourage you to think about in terms of addressing your interest in the program and how you look at what the program will offer you and take it beyond, is that programs at Whitman prepare you for a global marketplace. So why am I saying this? Because we have had examples of students who immediately after graduation have been able to land a position in their specific area of interest, whether it was business analytics or supply chain or marketing, what have you. But then due to various regulations in the visa processes, have not been able to convert the OPT timeframe into a work visa and had to return to their home countries. But after returning to their home countries, they were able to secure positions in multinational corporations within less than a month after returning to their home country. So part of the way of looking at or answering is specifically whether there are opportunities in the US. Yes, you can work with a career center advisor towards that, but you also want to open that up into thinking not just US companies in the US, but US companies worldwide or globally renowned companies that the program will prepare you for. That's in general that I'm giving you a response. We've had students go into GE, we've had students go into Amazon, into Facebook, Tesla. So we do have students in different places, but then ultimate regulations are not in our hands. Political changes invite new changes to student policies, and so that is not in our hands. But then with respect to what we are seeing in the market, it is challenging these days, but then it is not that there is no opportunity at all. Don, do you have any specific examples you want to address?
No, I think we will have less than 1 minute, so we need to answer any more questions as possible.
Okay. Any Turkish restaurant close by to your campus? Not that I'm aware of. So
there is one Middle Eastern restaurant 1 block away from our building.
Right.
But I don't know how much Turkish food is served.
Yeah. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to invite all of you to just specifically email me for any other questions, and contact us individually with your particular profiles, or your send us your resume, and then I can schedule calls with you, or I can respond to you via email if it's a quick response. Also note that when we receive your registration information, all of you will receive an email from me inviting you to access certain links on our website, but also connect with us for detailed conversation. Because you have attended this event, you will be eligible to receive an application fee waiver code if you do decide to apply for fall of 21. So more on that would be specific to your particular profile and the program that you choose to apply for. Keep in mind, the application fee waiver code is only valid for programs at the business school at Syracuse University. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining us in today's webinar, and to IEFT for having invited us to participate in this webinar and for giving us the opportunity.
There was one last question on the app in the questions box.
Okay, which one is that?
From Faiza.
Master's degree student in marketing in Turkey. I'm in my first year, wondering, is it possible to transfer? No. For transferring into the MS degree programs, that is not possible because our MS programs are shorter in duration. They are only 30 credits, or in the case of business analytics, it is 36 credits. And for the MBA program, it's total 54 credits. So you would have to basically apply as a brand new student. You might want to think of a different program, or come into the MBA after a couple of years of work experience if you so desire. But transfer is not possible for the second year.
Thank you. So I also would like to thank you. It was very informative presentation session. Maybe if you can share your contact information in the chat box, they can copy and reach you for the further questions.
Great. So I will put both our contact information here so that any specific questions about business analytics, please contact Professor Harder about the curriculum. If you ask me, you won't get anything about it because I don't know the curriculum.
That's great. Thank you very much. So I think there is one last question. And the questions.
Where is that?
Do you give full scholarships?
Okay, so full scholarship, again, so scholarship determination is made based on your overall candidacy. In some cases in the MBA program, we have had scenarios where we have offered a full scholarship. The other thing I want to mention with respect to scholarships is these are based on merit, so irrespective of your citizenship or your educational background. But then the scholarship can only be applied towards the tuition and fees at the university. So you still have to find your own financial support for your living expenses. So just keep that in mind.
Professor Shiri, thank you again. It was very informative and fruitful webinar session. So it was very nice to welcome you at the IEFT Talks webinars. Is there anything you would like to add before we say goodbye?
Well, I'm just looking forward to the next two webinars that we will be doing with IEFT. And so again, thank you for having us. And I invite the students to please contact us at any time via email, and I'll do my best to respond as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Goodbye.